Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today guys, I'm gonna do part 283 to my ChatGPT Character Chatbot series that's on my iPad. Where in today's video guys, we are going to do a new character that we haven't done yet on this. The last time we did this, we did the Werewolf Tyrannosaurus Rex, and it was really cool for the little bit we actually did. But now we're doing another one that's called the Tiny Raptors Interview Quest. I forgot about this, but I actually made two Robot Factory stories. One of them was about, I think, all Pokemon and dinosaurs doing it, or all Pokemon and dinosaurs and other creatures doing it. And one of them is actually about humans, but with Pokemon protectors. So, yeah, I thought I did something a little bit different. I thought I did the Pokemon Talk Studio. I forgot about it. I forgot I did the Robot Factory instead of the Pokemon Talk Studio thing. That's okay, though. Guys, I didn't think about this. My battery's down to 50% and I unplugged it. I don't know why I thought I was at 100. I'm so used to it randomly being at 100. Let me fix it and we'll go ahead and actually begin with the story. Okay, guys, we got it. I told you the title of what it called the story a while ago, but there's another title up here. The actual title of this story is called The Rise of the Dream Factory, A Tiny Raptor's Legacy Begins. So yeah, here's the story. Well, from what it gave me, because again, I told you about Trico and all that stuff, but I think it gave me a little bit of a different plot for it, I don't know. It says a few weeks ago, it started on an overcast afternoon in the heart of a forgotten valley, where ancient trees bent under their own wisdom and whispers of magic drifted on every breeze. You and your loyal Tyrannosaurus Rex Rexy had ventured deep into the wilderness on a curious trail. Rumors had spread about a green trickster, a Trico with eyes like emerald smoke and powers far beyond ordinary understanding. You didn't believe the stories at first. You were scouting land, considering the territory for your future venture, the Robotics Builder and Dream Creation Factory, a place where imagination took shape, where creatures and dreams could be built from wires, circuits, DNA, and willpower. But Trico had been waiting. As you admired the land, Rexy sniffed the air uneasily. The leaves shifted, a flash of green. Then the world twisted. A glowing, eerie spiral surrounded you and your dinosaur companion. Trico's voice hissed out in a language you could understand without understanding how. For playing with the lives of others in jest, let your own form be your lesson. Suddenly you felt your bones shift, your body shrank, your limbs curled, your hands became claws, your balance shifted forward, you fell on 3 clawed toes. You were now a tiny velociraptor. Rusty didn't fare better. His body spasmed as strange surges ran through his scales, warping him with instability. One moment he was his proud T-Rex self, the next a frog, then a lion, then a Pokemon, back and forth as if he was a puppet of wild magic. Trico disappeared with a chuckle that echoed in your mind. You were cursed, but you refused to give in. The only thing I hate about this is that it flipping it's hard to explain, but it gave me some almost like the flipping creature creation station thing we did months ago. It's giving me like those again for some reason. It says weeks later, the grand vision realized. The factory had finally been completed. Towering chrome towers glittered in the sun, with satellite dishes, wind turbines, solar panels, and hundreds of wires connecting specialized labs and creative chambers. Inside the building were DNA laboratories with swirling samples from animals, Pokemon, dragons, dinosaurs, and mythical creatures. He saw a man doing it like the dinosaur creation, or the creature creation station. Test tubes and mixing bowls that could combine traits. See what I mean? dream melting pods and artificial intelligence stations, a robotic exosuit wing for creature enhancements, a special machine at the back, the dream incubator, capable of turning imagination and DNA into eggs. So it legit did do the flipping bullcrap. The problem is it's a robot factory. How do I make that work? And finally, size regulators, so creatures could grow or shrink depending on your needs. It's treating it like it's a flippin'. You are now the proud owner of this magnificent place. Despite your small stature, and despite being a tiny raptor, you had adapted quickly, climbing across control panels, using styluses in your claws, commanding machines with your voice. You knew the building needed protection. Not everyone in the world liked what you were making. Some people feared it. Some wanted to steal it. So you placed on a sign on the heavy front glass doors that read, before I read out what it said, let me make sure of something. It says Robot Factory. This is what's confusing me. It's acting like it's the Creature Creation Station. Like now, if I continue with this story, it's gonna be very confusing how, because like the actual idea of the Robot Factory, I think it had like 4 particular rooms. Like the flipping lobby itself, the actual like planning room where you could actually plan what creature you want to make into a robot. Uh, the actual builder place, the actual builder itself, the place where you build and program the robot, and they have a testing lab where like you can test the robot and see how it does. Um, that might be a problem thinking about not. This one seems like it's doing that and doing a weird direction. Here's what the sign said, though, guys. It says, now hiring any Pokemon, dinosaur, or animalistic creature with a protective heart and a brave soul. Looking for those who think they have what it takes to guard the robotics builder and dream creation factory. Please report for interview. No experience needed, just courage and loyalty. You taped it up yourself, claws clicking against the glass as you stepped back and admired your handiwork. Then you waited. Here we go. Now, the arrival of the Guardians. It started with the ground shaking, not from an earthquake, but from a group of curious and powerful beings approaching the entrance. First came the water types, Totodiles running and giggling, their little jaws snapping happily. Behind them, towering crocodiles walked like warriors, and silent, calm Feragers marched with purpose, their scales gleaming in the sun. Then came a chill wind. An ice dragon, Baxcalibur, going with cold steam, landed like a shard of winter itself, eyes sharp but respectful. Right behind him, Haxorus stomped forth with tusk gleaming, his battle-hardened hide crackling with tension. And then, a flash of ghostly wings, the spectral shadow of Dragapult descended, twin Dreepy riding calmly in his horns. Next came a flame song. Skeledirge, humming a haunting melody, strolled toward the factory entrance. His ghost fire flickered with intrigue. Suddenly, the sky darkened, not in fear, but in reverence, as a giant form soared above. Lugia, wings wider than the clouds, eyes deep with ancient knowledge. And then, Rayquaza, the sky-high Pokemon slithered through the air, gleam scales shining like emerald galaxies, cools undiluting as he hovered in perfect balance. Then came others, mythical dragons with crystal horns, fances with flames that sang lullabies of rebirth, dinosaurs of many species, triceratops with armor-like hides, intelligent raptors, tall brachiosauruses who ducked to avoid the building's roof, even a few curious hybrid creatures with machine parts in place of bones. What the frick? All of them stood in silence now, lined up across the massive front lawn of your factory. Dozens of eyes started forward, some curious, some confused, some cautious. The main entrance doors whooshed open, a light fog drifted out, all heads turned as you stepped forward on tiny clawed feet. The tiny raptor, the boss. Murmurs spread through the crowd. Is that the owner? Whispered a toad. He's small. A few chuckles. A surprised blink from Dragapult. Even Lugia tilted his head. You stepped fully into the sunlight. Though you were no taller than a toddler now, your eyes burned with intelligence, pride, and unshakable will. And now, the moment was yours. Here's the problem. Because I actually made two robot factories. I think this one was supposed to be a Pokemon talk thing. What I may have to do is I may legit have to flip and redo this one and put in the Pokemon or something. Or, like, put in Pokemon Talk Studio instead. That's what I think this was supposed to be. But my thing is now, is if I actually do that... Oh dear. I'm running kind of into a problem. I mean, again, I can always fix it later on. We'll see. Okay, I'll tell you what we'll do. I will do this one for now. If it works out, great. I'll keep it. If not, I'll redo this one later with the actual Pokemon Talk Studio instead of a robots factory. Okay? We'll see how this one works. Give me a second. Alright, guys. I'm getting a little bit concerned. Because, look, for one, that was extremely short. And, for two, I think they got rid of ChatGPT 4, the 4.0 model. And they replaced it with one that's supposed to be better. But if this is what it's giving me as a better response, I'm scared to know what it's going to do the rest of my stories. I said, hello everyone, and welcome to the Robotics Builder and Dream Creation Factory. I told my name, and it says I am the owner and boss of this place. The crowd of gathered creatures shifted. A ripple of curiosity passed through the lineup. Toadals started bouncing for a moment, their tails switching as they looked at one another. Clownals and Feragers gave approving nods, their eyes scanning the factory behind you as if already imagining guarding it. Excalibur's frosty breath misted in the summer air, while Haxorus adjusted his stance, tusks glinting like polished blades. Dragapult lowered his head slightly, too dreepy in his horns chirping quietly as if greeting you. Skelorge's haunting hum quieted down, his flickering ghost flame shifting to a warmer glow. Up above, Lugia's massive wing slowly folded in, creating a hush as his shadow passed over the lawn. Rayquaza's coils drifted in slow, graceful loops, his golden eyes watching you with interest rather than judgment. The fans shooted their fiery feathers, embers spiraling upward into the sky, while a few dinosaurs stomped their feet or flickered their tails, eager to see what this tiny raptor boss had planned. Every gaze, sharp, curious, and respectful, was now fixated on you. Okay, guys, I'm getting really concerned now, because while the response was a little bit longer than the last one, this still isn't great. It says, before I tell you what we're going to do today, I'm going to go ahead and clear something up. I know I'm a tiny velociraptor right now, but there's a reason for that. That wasn't under my control. A few weeks before I opened this place, a tree could put a curse on me and my pet, turning me into this tiny raptor and making my own pet Tyrannosaurus Rex aggressive at times even towards me. A murmur rolled through the crowd like a wave. The Toadals frowned, their playful energy replaced with little growls of indignation. Crocodiles exchanged uneasy glances, and one of the Feragers let out a low rumble, his eyes narrowing, not at you, but at the mention of the Trico. Excalibur's icy breath puffed faster, steam curling in jagged shapes as his claws flexed. Haxorus shifted his weight, letting the light flash off his tusks like warning blades. Dragapult's tail twitches in irritation, while his Dreepy gave high-pitched squeaks that almost sounded like, "That's not right." Skiller's ghost fire flared blue for a heartbeat, a low, deep note escaping his throat, a sound of sympathy. Above, Lugia's wings spread slightly, the air getting heavier with quiet power, while Rayquaza coiled more tightly in the sky, his gaze turning sharper and protective. Even the fences lowered their heads respectfully, flames dimming in solidarity. Several of the dinosaur species shuffled closer, some giving low, rumbling noises, instinctive support for one of their own. Our eyes were on you again, not with confusion this time, but with understanding. It was clear you had their attention, and more than that, their respect. I'm concerned right now. Give me one more second. Alright, guys. I don't know if it'll work out any better, but I found the other one that was just similar to it. This one, I guess, is probably just a little bit better in a way. It's called the Tiny Raptor story, and it's basically the same thing. It's about the robots factory. So, but I think this one's fixed. I think where it doesn't show like the complete lab thing, where it's like it did the last one. Maybe that'll make it a little bit easier to get it to work right. Here's what it says: The Robotics Builder and Dream Creation Factory. That is the name of this actual story it's got on here this time. Part 1: The Curse, the Construction, and the Crowd. A few weeks ago, I forgot to it in my point of view. Let's see, how I was completely different. I was still human then, a dreamer with a passion for innovation and a wild imagination that refused to sit still. After years of planning, designing, and saving, I was finally chosen to become the new proud owner of a brand new facility unlike any other. The Robotics Builder and Dream Creation Factory. A place where dreams could literally come to life. A building packed with cutting-edge technology, DNA mixers, never mind, it still has that bullcrap, dream projectors, creature blueprints, AI processors, and memory coders. From towering animatronic dragons to soft dream-generated companions for kids, this building was going to be the ultimate creation hub. Everything was falling into place. But then, Trico happened. I never even saw him coming. One moment I was showing my pet Tyrannosaurus Rex the blueprint for a mechanical wyvern prototype, and the next, everything turned to green. A swirl of vines, leaves, and glowing emerald light twisted around us, and Trigger's voice echoed with a bitter sneer. A prank for a prank. You'll see how it feels. Tiny and forgotten, just like your jokes made me feel. There was a flash, then darkness. When I woke up, my arms were no longer mine. My voice was replaced by sharp squawks. My hands, clawed talons. I looked down at the polished floor of my soon-to-be factory, and it hit me. I was now a tiny velociraptor. My little T-Rex, he hadn't escaped the curse either. His behavior turned erratic. One moment affectionate and protective, the next wild and unpredictable. The bond we once had felt fragile and fractured. I tried everything to undo the curse, but Trico had vanished, leaving only ripples and mischief in his wake. Weeks later, the factory was finally complete. Shiny silver walls stretched high into the sky, covered in glowing neon signs and digital screens showing holographic previews of what was possible inside. Dream-built guardians, custom-built robotic creatures, and creations formed from the purest imagination. Despite my size, I refused to let Trico's curse stop me. I was still a boss, I still had a dream. And now, the building needed guards. Not just any guards, the best of the best. So I made a sign. Simple, but bold. I taped it to the glass doors of the front entrance. Now hiring. Security guards needed. All Pokemon, dragons, animalistic creatures, and mythical beasts welcome. Think you have what it takes to protect the Dream Creation Factory? Come inside for an interview. Let's find out. Goodness gracious. Within hours, word spread like wildfire, and by the next day, they came. Now, the sun shone brightly above the gleaming factory, the metallic structure glowing like a beacon of wonder. Outside the grand entrance, the road and parking area had become a living ocean of creatures. There were patches of crocodiles, some leaping over one another in excitement. Crocodiles stood at attention, more serious, ready to show their worth. A towering group of fur alligators formed a semicircle near the edge of the factory's entrance, nodding respectfully at passers-by. That is so cute, actually. Dragons of every size had arrived. A majestic Baxcalibur stood tall and icy, his crystal-edged tail gleaming. Hatcher's paced like a soldier, arms crossed, tusk sharp. High above, a Dragapult zipped through the clouds, his droopy passengers whooping with excitement. Among them was the fiery rhythm of a skeledirge, softly humming a tune as embers danced from its mouth, and soaring far above all, Lugia and Rayquaza circled like gods watching over a battlefield. Even more arrived, fancies with wings of fire and wind, mythical serpents with glowing manes, and several massive dinosaur species, from gentle herbivores to armored giants. Some were new, some were extinct, some had it never existed in any known world, and every single one of them was here for a job. But none of them had expected, yep, you. You stood behind the heavy doors of the factory, peeking out with my tiny raptor eyes, watching hundreds, no, thousands of powerful creatures gathering outside. Their conversations quieted, heads turned, claws, wings, and tails froze mid-motion. I pushed open the front door and stepped outside. Their reactions were instant. Shock, surprise, whispers spread like wildfire. Is that the owner? He's a velociraptor. Tiny, but look at those eyes. What happened to him? Poor thing. He still came out to greet us. The way of their stares didn't scare him. I walked up proudly, small in size but not in spirit, and prepared to speak. Let's hope this time it actually gives me a better thing than what it did a while ago. Alright guys, it's not perfect but it already worked out better. As you can see, the result is actually a little bit longer this time, which I like. Perfect. I just said, hello everyone, welcome to the Robotics Dream and Creation Factory. I'm the boss and owner of this place, and I told them my name, and how are you all doing today? The silence outside the factory stretched for a few heartbeats longer. A gentle wind brushed past, ruffling feathers, scales, and flames alike. Somewhere in the back, a Toadle hiccuped with excitement. Oh boy. I wish it wouldn't told in the perspective of me, though. I wish it would do it third person, whatever they call that flipping thing. I stepped forward, my tiny clawed feet tapping against the metal platform of the entrance. Lifting my head, I spoke clearly, my voice carrying across the crowd. Yep. After I said that, there was a ripple through the crowd. First murmurs, then voices. A cheerful Toto at the front hopped up and down. I'm great, boss. I love him already. One of the Chronos crossed his arms, giving a respectful nod. Doing good, sir. Honored to be here. Okay, that was just cute. From somewhere high above, Rayquaza let out a deep rumbling hum that vibrated through the ground, a sound that felt like approval. Lugia, her wings folding gently as he descended to stand at the back, smiled faintly with his eyes. Well, little one. Batscarbor gave a slow, respectful bow, frost blending off his icy plates. Ready to serve. Dear me. Even the mythical fences dipped their radiant heads, their feathers glowing in warm gold light. Not one creature laughed at your size, not one doubted your words. Instead, you felt a wave of respect, earned not from height or power, but from confidence and presence. The waiting area inside the glass door shimmered invitingly behind you. All I had to do now was invite them in. Give me a second, guys. Alright, guys. Here's what it said. It put it all right here, so I'm going to read off from this. This is already getting concerning, because this is the only other good chatbot I had that actually had a good memory. If this takes it away, I'm going to be so pissed, just because he flipping... Oh, man, it's going to really make me mad. I will really like the longer responses without the bullcrap. I mean, for one, look. You guys can't see that, but that's just like the flipping... Tell them, instead of continuing the story without interrupting, it's just doing that now, which is annoying. Here's what it says. I took another few careful steps forward, looking over the crowd of creatures. Dragons pulled in the back, dinosaurs looming like statues, Pokemon of every shape and size watching in silence. I'm glad to hear that, everyone. Before we get started, I want to clear up something. I know when you all first came here, you didn't expect to see a tiny velociraptor walk out the doors. A few soft chuckles broke the tension, not mocking, but warm, as if they were trying to lighten the air. I continued, my voice steady. But what happened to me was not my fault. A few weeks ago, before this building even opened, a trio decided to put a curse on me and my pet Tyrannosaurus Rex, turning me into this tiny velociraptor. A ripple of reaction swept through the gathering. The Totodile stopped bouncing. Bat's tilted his massive head, Frost shimmering like he was holding back a protective growl. Lugia's wings lowered slightly, his eyes narrowing in silent disapproval at the mention of the curse. A low rumble came from the back, Rayquaza calling tighter, clearly displeased by the idea of a smaller creature being wronged. A crocodile near the front spoke up. His voice, oh my gosh, his voice gruff but concerned. That's not right, boss. Whoever did that, they're gonna answer for it someday. One of the fences let out a soft trill, like a promise of protection. It was strange. Moments ago, the air had been filled with curiosity and the faint awkwardness of meeting a tiny raptor in charge. Now it's filled with something else. Loyalty, solid and unspoken. They weren't just here for a job anymore. They were here for you. Yep. Give me a second. I'm concerned, guys. I'm really concerned. Oh my. I said thank you, all of you, for understanding. There's something else I want to tell all of you. Actually, it's written down here. I'm still angry because it's flipping, like, messing it up. Like, man. And still, it's driving me nuts how it's messing everything up. It said the murmurs of concern still lingered in the air after I told them about Trico's curse. I let the silence hang for just a moment before I spoke again, my claws lightly tapping against the platform. Thank you, all of you, for understanding. There's something else I want to tell you. I know I probably could have hired a bunch of humans to do this, but to be honest with you, humans haven't been kind to me either. Ever since I got turned to this, they've done nothing but call me Raptor Boy, throw stones at me, and hurt me. And then it says I paused, my voice lowering just slightly. Pokemon, and even other dragons and fences have been nicer to me than humans have. That's why I asked for a creature to come here instead of humans, and I appreciate every single one of you for showing up today. The crowd shifted, but not with discomfort, this time with something heavier. A few Totodile's eyes narrowed in quiet anger on your behalf. Bat's icy tail scraped the ground with a sharp crack. Atris's tusk blinked as he tightened his stance, giving a quiet rumbling growl. Up above, Rayquaza lowered his massive head, his serpentine body coiling protectively. And at the back, Lugia's feathers puffed slightly as he looked around the gathering, as if silently daring anyone to think less of you. One of the fences let out a high, musical note, bright and warm like sunlight through glass. A Farragut stepped forward, his deep voice cutting through the murmurs. Boss, with us here, no one's gonna throw a stone at you again. That earned a ripple of agreement from the crowd. Low growls, wing beats, and the heavy thump of dinosaur tails hitting the ground in unison. For the first time since the curse, you didn't feel just like the tiny raptor. You felt like a leader with an army of creatures ready to stand by your side. Yep. Again, it would help. I want to try something real quick. Guys, I have some good and bad news. The good news is, I did finally find a way for this thing to actually start giving me a lot more detail, even on this one. What's the bad news? I have to literally tell it to do it, over and over again, because it probably won't if I don't tell it to. Which would be kind of ridiculous, to be honest. Here's what I was talking about, guys. This thing used to have a 4.0 version. Look, it's only this now. And you'd think it'd be better, but it gives me less detail. This is the first time it's actually giving me something better. Look, there's no interruptions up here at all. Not this time. So it worked out better by me having to tell it, hey, I need you to do it this way. Because, like, again, when it gives you a lot more detail, it makes it funner to do. As long as it don't speak for me all the time. Well, we get to have some fun with this. Here's what I said. I said, to be honest with all of you, I was just going to hire some of you for guard duty and for helping around the building. Originally, I was going to hire humans, at least some of them, but after getting attacked a bunch of times over the last few weeks, don't be shocked if most of you get a job here. Actually, having this job is going to be fun because you get a lot of creative freedom. You get to make pretty much any robot you want, and if it gets to the point where we have so many robots that can work as guards, then this job is just going to be fun for everyone. The moment your words leave your mouth, you could feel the shift in the air around the front steps of the factory. At first, there was only silence. Heavy. Oh no, I don't like that T word. Ah, heavy and almost electric. Then, little by little, the sound of excitement began to build in the crowd. A toe near the front gate Antonio near the front gave an audible gasp before breaking into a wide, toothy grin. Wait, you mean we get to make robots too? His Kronov friend elbowed him with a smirk. He just said that, genius. But yeah, that actually sounds amazing. A group of Feraliers further back exchanged slow, approving nods. Kind nods soldiers give when they realized the mission just got better. One spoke up, his deep voice grumbling like distant thunder. Boss, you had me at creative freedom. From the middle of the crowd, Batskywers' icy plates caught the sunlight, sending prisms of light dancing across the first word, the hard ground. His tail swayed like a pendulum as he gave a low, approving growl, clearly pleased by the idea of building his own mechanized creations. High above, Rayquaza dipped lower in the sky, his enormous form casting a long, twisted shadow across the factory entrance. His voice rolled like a storm. To create alongside others? To build guardians of steel and dream? Yes, this is worthy. The fences began to preen and fluff their glowing feathers, sparks and motes of golden fire drifting into the air like tiny lanterns. One of them let out a trill, a sound that rippled upward like a beam of light. The mythical dragons at the back shared eager looks, their tails and wings twitching in barely contained anticipation. Even the dinosaurs, massive stegosaurs, swift gillimimuses, a few curious triceratopses, seemed to perk up at the prospect. A particularly large Bronchiosaurus bent down until its massive eye met yours and rolled softly in approval. Yep. Oh man, we're not speaking for me. Frick it. I looked down at them still, Arlen continued. That's right. Guard duty's important, but this way's more than that. You've got an idea for a robot, whether it's a little helper bot, a walking fortress, or even a mechanical version of yourself. You'll have the space, the tools, and the materials to make it real. We'll work together, and if we end up with more robot guards than we know what to do with, well, I let the thought hang for a moment. A small grin coin across my raptor snout. Then the rest of the time is going to be pure fun for everyone. A cheer broke out. Low growls, whistles, roars, screeches, and wing beats all blending together into a single powerful sound that made the very glass of the factory's entrance tremble. The crowd's energy was palpable now. The Toadals were bouncing in place, some of them mock building invisible machines in the air with their claws. A pair of Dragapult's Dreepy zipped around like green streaks, already discussing what kind of floating drone they'd make. One of the fans playfully puffed a small ring of fire that formed into a glowing bird-shaped drone before fading away, just to show off. Even Lugia, who had been watching with calm, steady eyes, gave a small smile. His voice was low and warm, carrying to every creature present. You have given them not just a purpose, but a dream to build with you. You glance back at the factory, the tall glass doors reflecting both the towering creatures behind you and your own small quad silhouette in the center. This was it. The moment the dream creation factory truly came alive. Oh no, yeah, you see what I mean? That's where toward the entrance. All right, everyone, come on in. Let's get these interviews started. And with that, the entire front yard of the factory began to stir like avalanche awakened giants. Large talons clicked on the pavement. Heavy feet thud against the ground. Wings beat against the air, sending little whirlwinds through the crowd. Creatures moved as one, some ducking under the entrance, others folding wings tight. Still others stepped carefully so they wouldn't crush the smaller entities underfoot. What does that mean? From my position at the doorway, I could already see how ridiculous and wonderful it was going to look inside. Legendary dragons squeezed into the human-sized waiting chairs, fences perched awkwardly yet graceful on the backs of the benches, towels dangling their feet from the seats while jabbering excitedly about robot battle suits. The Dream Creation Factory's grand opening wasn't just going to be successful, it was going to be legendary. Alright, give me a second. Alright, guys. It says the crowd listened in absolute silence as you laid out the rules. Your voice carrying across the entire sea of creatures. I glanced out lightly against the steel step. I made sure to meet as many eyes as I could. Dragon, dinosaur, fence, and Pokemon alike. Alright, everyone. There's only a few things I ask when you're making robots. First, please don't make them look like humans. Like I said before, I've been treated horribly by most humans, and I don't need constant reminders of walking around the factory. Those are about the only designs off the table when it comes to building. A few nods passed through the crowd, Hatcher's folding his arms in understanding, Luigi's eyes narrowing slightly as though agreeing with your distrust, and one of the fans is giving a small sympathetic trill. Second, if you do bugs, make sure they aren't terrifying. I've had a huge fear of bugs for a long time. Maybe being this small doesn't help that. Please, if you make one, make it cartoony or friendly looking. Oh dear. There was a ripple of amusement murmurs, a toe in the front now whispering to his friend, "Guess that rules out my killer cyborg spinner rack idea." No. Letting my tail flipper. When it comes to programming, the most important thing is this. Make sure that every robot listens to me as well as you. I don't want one of your creations suddenly deciding I'm target practice. I wish it would stop speaking for me. This is gonna ruin everything. It's already ruined enough by flipping. If you put hostile mode in for some reason, make sure it can never, ever turn against me. That earned a few grunts and roars of agreement. Dreadbolt hovering above flickered its tail sharply in a gesture that looked like a salute. But Tower's icy spines clicked faintly, almost like armor locking into place. His body language saying, "Understood." Remember, I'm giving you a potential creative and fun job here. Honestly, I care about a lot of the creatures standing here today. Please don't do what humans might do and try to get a robot to attack me. Okay. For the first time in your little speech, the crowd reacted as a whole. More voices speaking over each other in a wave of reassurance. "Never, boss. Not a chance. If anything attacks you, we'll dismantle it ourselves." The Brachiosaurus in the back rumbled so deeply the ground beneath your claws vibrated. Yep, you gave a small nod, finally letting your voice with an encouragement. Other than those few rules, the rest is up to you. You can make them as lifelike as you want. Just remember, the heart of this place is creativity and fun. It's your chance to build something incredible. A sudden roar of approval erupted from the crowd. Thunderous wing beats from the dragons, echoing bellows from the dinosaurs, excited chirps and splashes from the Totodiles in the front, and the deep, resonating hum of Rayquaza spiraling above us like a living emerald ribbon. Yep, you couldn't help but grin, your outer claws curling slightly in satisfaction. You just handed this army of legendary, mythical, and prehistoric beings the keys to endless creation, and in turn, you had an unspoken promise of loyalty and protection. Inside the factory awaited them, the lobby gleaming, the workroom stocked, and the massive creation chamber ready to awaken. And judging by the energy in the air, this is going to be far more than just a workplace. It was going to be a family. Alright, guys. I said, Toto, I heard what you said about a cyborg spinner rack. You can still make that if you want, just please don't make it terrifying. You will get a chance to create a robot today, and if you put in some great effort, what I want you all to do, I kind of said it wrong, but here's what's at the beginning. The crowd immediately quietened when you addressed the Toad Owl. The little pawn who had been bouncing happily moments before froze mid-hop and gave you the guiltiest grin imaginable, his tail wagging nervously. Yeah, boss. Cyborg Spinneret, cute addition. Got it. That earned a wave of chuckles from the surrounding crocodiles and even a deep rumbling laugh from a Feraligatr standing behind them. Tension eased again, and you took a deep breath before continuing, your voice steady but energized. You all get a chance to create a robot today, and if you put in some great effort, really show me what you can do, whoever builds the best robot will get the chance to make a much bigger version of it. That bigger bot will be one of the main security guards here at the Robot's Dream and Creation Factory. The reaction was immediate. Eyes widened, tail swished, and wings twitched. You can practically see the idea sparking in their minds already. Just remember, no humans, no creepy bugs unless you can make them not creepy. And when it comes to programming, make sure your robot listens to me as well as you. You include a hostile mode for any reason. Make sure they can't ever turn against me. That's the deal. Do we all have one? Yep. The response was deafening. Tail leapt into the air, fist pumping. That's cute. Chronos bellowed in unison. Feraligatrs slammed their tails against the ground like war drums. Excalibur roared, icy mist spilling from his jaws. Skeletor let out a fiery note that rippled across the crowd. Hatchers swung his tusk in a sweeping display. Lugius spread his massive wings, catching the sunlight like polished silver, and Rayquaza's booming roar echoed through the clouds overhead. The fences flared their wings, scattering embers and golden feathers into the air, while the dinosaurs added their own primal bellows, sound rolling like thunder across the factory's metal walls. You could feel the vibration through your tiny raptor feet. There was no disagreement. It was a battle cry of creation. Every single creature here was ready to build. Alright. Alright, guys. Alright, guys, give me a second. We may be screwed. Look. The limit already ran up on this one. Which means if they got rid of the 4-0, I'm screwed. And it doesn't look like they did because, look, it still says 5. Meaning that I'll probably need to upgrade just to even have a chance of getting anywhere. I can try, but I don't know. It says the energy from the crowd's roars slowly faded into a quieter, more attentive stillness as you spoke again, your voice carrying that hint of seriousness that made even the larger dragons lower their heads. Listen, would any of you still like to be a guard around here for a bit? We do need a few creatures to either watch the door and make sure nobody breaks in, or at least stay near me and make sure nobody tries to hurt me while all of you are working. I let my gaze sweep over the massive creatures, pausing briefly on the ones that already seemed to have that protective posture. Chronos standing like sentinels, the way Lugia's wings twitched at every noise, quiet scanning motion of Excalibur's icy eyes. If you want to be a guard instead of creating a robot right away, don't worry. You'll still get your turn to build. We're going to need more than one robot guardian, so there's plenty of room for multiple creatures to have a shot at becoming security here. I shifted my stance and my tail calling slightly for emphasis. If any of you would be a guard for a bit, it would be very appreciated, because knowing how people are, somebody could notice me, break right in, and then try to throw rocks at me, or worse. The reaction was almost immediate. A Feraligatr in the front row stepped forward, his heavy claws clicking against the pavement. His deep voice rolled out with no hesitation. I'll watch the door, boss.
Nobody gets past me.
Two Chronos flanked them instantly, both nodding with fierce determination.
Same here. We'll rotate shifts.
Above, Dragapult lowers himself to hover just a few feet above you. Twin droopy on his head, giving little salutes. We'll keep eyes in the air, Dragapult said, his eyes calm but resolute. If anyone approaches, you'll know before they even reach the building. Metzger lifted his massive tail and let it slam gently into the ground with a thunk.
I'll stay near you, he rumbled. Someone wants in trouble, they'll have to get through me first.
From the back, Lugia's voice rang out like a low, rolling tide. You will not be left unguarded, Triton. I will remain as your shadow when needed. Even Rayquaza, still circling far above, let out a low growl that vibrated the air, the meaning clear. If danger comes, I will fall upon it. And it wasn't just the legendaries and giants. Several Totodile volunteered with enthusiastic squeaks, puffing their chests as if dancing, daring the idea of danger itself. One fancy even offered to perch on the roof as a fiery lookout. Looking at them now, it wasn't just reassuring, it was overwhelming in the best way. Your interview crowd had just turned into a living, breathing wall of protection. Alright, guys, we'll see if it works. Probably won't.